So this is January and we're at Flagler Beach. I think somebody forgot to tell Mother Nature that we're in Florida because it is 35 degrees this morning. I got up, called myself gonna go out and look at the water, drink a cup of coffee, look at that red sand and the waves crashing. You know what? It's cold. We're in site number 6, by the way. So if you had anything other than a smaller camper or anything 35 foot and smaller, you can get it in here. It took me a little bit, but I was able to get our 35 foot camper in with the rack on the back, about 37 foot. And not only did I amaze myself, I think I amazed quite a few other people. But it is cold. And I can't even get the fire going. I'm a Florida boy. I was born in Okeechobee. And I don't know if I've ever seen it this cold down here. I know it has been. Man, my teeth are cold. Laura and I spent 2 weeks at Gamble Rogers, and it wasn't all bad. We had a few days before that polar vortex winter storm came through. And one of the first things we did was we hopped on our e-bikes and we took a ride up to actual Flagler Beach down at the pier. Kind of went down to Oceanside Bar and Grill. We really enjoyed it. The view is awesome. The food, you know, is comparable. It's beachside dining, a little pricey. And as we were riding down, we did notice there was a lot of little hotels. I really like this one right here. It had 3 or 4 of those little cottages that you could rent. And I thought that was kind of neat. But you know what I found was most interesting was how people decorated their houses. This one right here on the left, this gentleman or lady, they actually put pirates on top of their house to protect it. I thought that was just the neatest thing in the world. But there was a lot of homes that did unique decorations. Flagler Beach Pier, it was damaged by the last hurricane that came through, so we did not get a chance to walk out on it. But we did go up there, and there's several benches that you can sit down and enjoy. And this little restaurant right here on the pier is, what was it called? It was the Funky Pelican. It was still open. Again, we didn't eat at this one. We kind of pick and choose the places we eat. And we actually had our lunch right here up underneath these little benches here. And you can get a good view of what the ocean looks like. And I mean, for wintertime, hey, and the weather, people were out there doing their thing and just passed somebody with a surfboard. That red sand, you just can't beat it. North, central, or east side of Florida. Those are our e-bikes right there. Laura's waiting on me to put this camera down and come over and have a bite to eat. She made us lunch, which we do that a lot when we're out riding around and we go to these different places. Now, I haven't forgotten we are going to do a campground review, and that's going to come here towards the end and also show you some of the other things that we did. If you ride through here and go 1 block over, there is quite a bit of town with the little store fronts that you can go and get your, you know, I don't know, just all kind of little memory items you can pick up. The park was awesome. We, again, we didn't ride our bikes on this, but as you walk across, it goes to the intercoastal, and it shows natural Florida. I mean, what it's really like. And it's a very nice, relaxing walk. It even has some areas where you can sit down, relax if you get tired, because it is probably, I'd say, a good 1/8 of a mile, maybe round trip, a little over 1/4 of a mile before you get out to the end of the walkway here. And we went to Matanzas Inlet. This is a natural inlet, so they don't have it, no pier or anything that you can walk out on. Just crossing the bridge, you get a sense of just how just beautiful it is. And there is a park up here on the right that we stopped at, and we took the boardwalk out to the actual beach itself. You'll see here in just a moment. It was a nice little walk, not much more, and again, maybe round trip 1/4 of a mile. And the way they've got the boardwalk done, it's accessible no matter what your age is or what your abilities are. This is not Fort Matanzas. We're going to be there in just a moment. But the walk out on the boardwalk was pleasant. It's a little windy, a little cold. But, you know, this was a little different for Florida this year. So then we went up to the actual park itself. And this is Fort Matanzas. We didn't have to pay. Unfortunately, the ferries were down and we were unable to take the ferry across to the fort itself, but it was well worth it. You're going to see a nature walk here in a moment that was well worth the time and effort. And also, they got a little gift store and a lot of history talking about the Spaniards and how they protected this area, you know, the mouth of the St. Augustine area. And they also had, you'll see here in just a moment, they had an individual out there showing you how the old-timey muskets were used. So I hope you enjoy the nature walk and the tour of the area that we were allowed to see. And even without the ferry, it's well worth the stop. You need to stop and check it out. Hopefully you'll get to take the ferry across. We didn't, but it's well worth it.
Oh, there it is. I mean, you get a fairly good look at it, seeing as the ferry's down. At least that allows you to see the cannons and all that. It's kind of neat, huh? I was just going to ask if she's seen you.
Spidery epiphytes that are on this one. No bikes.
No bikes?
No bikes. We came to do hairpin turns on a bike anyway.
Be fun. I'm about to give me some of that. Be out on the road, can't get to a dentist. Do a little tour on the bike, right? This is quite a little walk in here. Be hanging out here when I was a kid. I didn't know they used these for shipbuilding. White oaks. Ah, muscadine grapes grow on large vines that climb and coils tightly around anything it can reach. Natural to Florida. Tell you, I grew up eating all this mess. You'd be all worried about it.
I know, because I can see you pulling the Hunger Games.
Seems to be a lot of medical uses for the trees and shrubs and everything around here. Yeah, got a few paws out there. I'm not sure what they are. So basically it's about a quarter-mile loop.
Yeah.
And back at the beginning.
The next day the weather started rolling in pretty good. I believe we were at the front of that vortex. And I decided to do a little shore fishing. I went and bought me a rod, about 40 bucks, and I already had the reel. And it's a two-piece rod, so I can take it with me. I spent hours sitting out in those chairs, and I did catch a handful of whiting, which were very tasty. The boy and I cleaned them up and deep fried them, and just basically some flour and seasoning. It was a really good day. It was cold. As you can see, the ocean is worked up pretty good. And we were hoping to catch some pompano. Didn't happen, but we caught some pretty decent sized whiting. And if you're gonna go to the beach, you're gonna come to Flagler or to Gamble Rogers, you at least got to give fishing a try. Also remember, when you're first checking in, you have to check in on the Riverside. And as you can see, there's 3 lanes. 2 to the far right there are for your longer fifth wheels and motorhomes and such. Excuse me, don't suppose you know of anywhere where you can get propane tanks refilled, do you?
Okay. Ace Hardware on 100.
Okay.
So 100 is the bridge. Go north to Flagler Beach, head out 100. Traffic's not good. They're doing something with the street lights over there, but Ace Hardware is out there a ways.
Okay, thank you. Okay, for those of you that have 30-gallon plus tanks, or you just don't want to pay the $26 or $27 it costs to exchange a 20-gallon tank, it's about $19 for a 20-gallon tank out at Ace Hardware. So as you see, we pulled in here. The first thing you're going to see is, well, the launch area for boats, and then you can rent those kayaks and canoes over there. And then we proceed on down into the actual camping area. Well, there's one difference between the Oceanside and the Riverside is the Riverside's paved, and a much larger area to drive in and do your dump station.
Yeah. So these are definitely, he said these were more big rig friendly, and they definitely are.
But there's not much of a view.
No.
They don't really even have a view of the river.
Yeah, but I mean, we would have been, those are tent sites. Those are nice.
Were all of these
are really nice.
full hookup
sites.
or?
I don't
just
think
some
all
of
of them. So like that one's not full hookup.
This one over here wasn't either, I noticed.
It's not.
See, I thought you'd have a really good river view over here. The restrooms are right dead middle of the circle.
Yeah. He would have put us at those, that cement pad and that cement pad that.
That's their overflow or their handicap, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But they are much longer spots,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
I mean, and it really is a nice campground.
Yeah, it is. Goes up to number, what, 68 over here? So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they're including the ones over at the beach side as part of the total for the Riverside and the beach side.
Yeah. And then
It's nice back there though. There is kayak and canoe rentals here, and when you first come into the Riverside, before you get to the parking areas, or I should say the camping areas, is where they keep all their kayaks. So when you come up to the turnoff, either going into the ocean side or the beach side, go to the Riverside and take care of all your paperwork, get your assignments, your location and everything. If you're on the ocean side, you'll come back over here and locate your parking spot. There is also a day use area for the public here, because the actual beachfront footage for the park isn't that much, and there is an area right here for the locals to come and park and go out to the beach. And it's also nice, it's got restrooms, not a whole lot of parking, but it does have some parking, and it's open from 8 to sunset. So when you first come in, there is a circle here you can turn around if you've made a mistake, or you just need to turn around and go back into the other side because for whatever reasons. There is a little dog walk area up here, and of course you always got to have your dogs on a leash. And it is gated, that's nice. They'll issue the code when you come in and register. And the very first one here on the left is the campground host, and you can purchase firewood. They actually ride around with firewood in the back of the golf cart. But that's number 1. And then it alternates number 2s to the right. Laura's over in the dog walk area. For some reason, a little girl is scared to death of that gate over there with that flag hanging on it. Ella. Number 3 to the left. And between 3 and 5, the odd numbers on the left, even numbers on the right, there is a beach overlook.
I am going to get the wintry looks of my men.
Brad.
Okay, a couple things. One, you can see there was quite a bit of rain that came in. We didn't get all the snow that the Panhandle did, but we got a lot of that freezing rain. And just so you know, the sand is very compacted, and had no problem whatsoever. I actually pulled out of there the day that we left, and that was the standing water that we had. So there was no problem with the tires spinning or anything like that. And my wife, as you can probably tell, decided to do her walkthrough portion of it when it was at its windiest and at its coldest. But if you were to go all the way down, and there is a turnaround down by the gate where you take your pets to go to the dog beach. She's actually walking back towards our rig right about now, and just kind of give you an idea here how worked up the ocean was and just how windy it was. It was bone chilling cold. Let me tell you something, brother. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and just in case, you know, if you like the way we do our videos, let us know down in the comments. We try to give you a little insight of what the surrounding area is about, what the things you can do and everything, not just a walkthrough of a campground. Hope you enjoy, guys. So these are our restrooms and the showers here in the Oceanside campsite, and they do have laundry, as you can see here in just a moment. The salt weather is really hard on them right now. The only thing that's running is one dryer. Both the washers are out of service. Beautiful park though. It is right across the street from the dump station, assuming that's so that they can run their water lines properly. There is the vending machine for drinks. And of course you have the local bulletin boards, do's and don'ts. There's a little viewing area down at the end of the row of all the campers that you can come down here and just sit and check out the beach. And this is a dog beach. We're fixing to go through the gate. It's the only access you have with your puppies. So here at the very end is the access to the public beach where you can take the dogs. You can't take your pets onto the park beach, and it is gated, and it does have a code that they'll assign you when you get here. And that's just a little path that goes around to the public beach area. See if we can take Miss Elsa down to the beach without her showing her butt. She's a sweet girl, but she definitely gets her hair in a rise when she gets around other dogs. She's very jealous and we're very protective. It says your animals must be leashed and pick up after your animals. Come on, baby. Come on. Elsa, go. She sees another puppy out there running off her leash. Come on.
I was like, those are really long steps.
Yeah, right? You like this? Come on. Got somebody out here surf fishing. And even on the beach, you can see there's a limit to where you can go. It says no dogs up there because you're entering the park area. Come on, Ella. So I don't know about this, Grandpa.
In 1886, the Flagler Beach House of Refuge was established on what is now called the Gamble Rogers Memorial State Recreation Area. There's actually a few of these up and down the coast, guys. They were established to help the sailors out, give them a place to stay and everything. Now, if you want to know the full history, I'm going to put a little printout up there. You're more than welcome to read it.
Now here's where the park's name came from. Gamble Rogers was an individual that was camping on State Park at the time, and he attempted to rescue an individual from the ocean, and unfortunately, tragically, he lost his life. He was unable to rescue the person, so hence the name of Gamble Rogers Memorial.
I was talking to a lady from South Florida. She says she's gonna go back. It's cold. It's been a nice stay though. Just giving you an idea. I'm all bundled up like I'm up north. Beach is empty. There's my son. Came to visit us from Europe. What do you think about it, Brandon? Is it warm enough?
Yeah, this is the cold I've been running away from the last 3 years.
Right? We're packing up, getting ready to leave here in a couple days. Getting everything put back together. But we figured we'd have us one more fire. You can stay out of the wind, it's not too bad. So what do you think about Flagler Beach, Brandon?
It's pretty. Cold, but it's pretty. Summertime, I bet it's gonna be an awesome place.
Yeah.
Talked to a guy earlier today. He said that you got to think about where everybody's coming from. Up north, this is nice.